Today I'll take class on antipsychotic drugs. So before going to this main topic, I will introduce you to few topics. So these are the contents of our today's class. So we will discuss this topic among these headings: Introduction to Psychosis, major dopaminergic pathways which are important for us to understand the mechanism and side effect of antipsychotic drugs. So after that, typical antipsychotic, atypical antipsychotic and phases of treatment of psychosis, and then adverse effect of antipsychotic drugs. So as all of you know that we have taken your previous classes that psychiatric disorders are divided into two groups. One is psychosis and another is neurosis. And psychosis and neurosis, these are the two disorders divided on the basis of presence or absence of insight. In psychosis, there is no insight, means patient is not aware that he or she is suffering from some kind of psychiatric illness. Only their caregivers and family members, they bring them for treatment. Another category is neurosis. Here patient, they have insight and they know that they are suffering from some kind of illness. So they come by themselves for treatment. Psychosis and neurosis, these are the two broad categories in psychiatric disorders. In psychosis, as all of us we know that main neurotransmitter is dopamine. In mesolimbic pathway, when dopamine is increased, it produces psychosis, and in neurosis, main neurotransmitter is serotonin. So in neurosis, serotonin is decreased, so we give treatment with drugs which increases serotonin level. So in neurosis, the major class of drugs or treatment is selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. In neurosis, various disorders comes like obsessive compulsive disorder, depressive disorders and anxiety disorders like generalized anxiety disorder and social anxiety disorders. In psychosis, what happens? Dopamine is increased in the brain circuits, so we need treatment which reduces dopamine level in the brain. So which decreases dopamine receptors and decrease its level. These are called typical and atypical antipsychotic. So today's our topic is typical and atypical antipsychotic. So we will discuss about them. So what is psychosis? Psychosis is a symptomatology of an underlying psychiatric disorder. Components of psychosis includes delusion, which is false belief system. They will believe that someone may kill them, someone may harm them or their families. Second is hallucination. What is hallucination? It is just a perception in the absence of any stimuli. So in hallucination, people, they see or hear things that others do not see or hear. And third is disorganized speech and behavior, which are abnormal for the given situation. So these are the components of a psychosis, means they will suffer with delusions, hallucinations, disorganized behavior and disorganized speech. And as all of us know, we discussed that characteristics of this one is loss of insight. They are not aware that they have illness. So psychotic disorders are always associated with other symptoms like sleep disturbances, social withdrawal, lack of motivation and difficulties in carrying out daily activities. So as in psychosis, major feature is loss of insight. So psychotic disorders that we discussed, they are not aware that they are suffering from some illness. Psychotic disorders are always associated with other symptoms like sleep disturbances, social withdrawal, lack of motivation and difficulty in carrying out daily activities. So DSM-5 classification system, which is the latest classification system in our psychiatric practice, and according to DSM-5, psychotic disorders are classified into these 6 categories. First and most important psychotic disorder is schizophrenia. Second is mood disorder like severe depressive disorder with psychotic symptoms, and mania with psychotic features. Third is substance induced psychosis. As all of us know, cannabis induces psychosis, alcohol withdrawal causes psychosis. So any substance induced psychosis, then dementia with psychotic features like Alzheimer's disease, dementia, or any other form of dementia. In the later phases, they develop delusion and hallucination means psychotic features, then delirium with psychotic features, and last and foremost is delusional disorder. So in psychiatry, most important psychotic disorder is schizophrenia, and we have read and discussed about it many times in our previous UG lectures. So what is schizophrenia? In schizophrenia, mainly we have two groups of symptoms. One is positive symptoms and another is negative symptoms. What about positive symptoms? Positive symptoms mean delusions and hallucinations. What do you understand by positive psychotic symptom is they are absent in normal human being but present in patients with schizophrenia, that is called delusion and hallucination. What about negative psychotic symptoms? They should be present in normal human being but they are absent in patient with schizophrenia, like amotivation, asocialization, anhedonia, and poor personal care. They don't have motivation to do any act, they are not able to take care of their routine activity, and anhedonia means they don't enjoy the pleasurable activities of life. So these are the two main groups of symptoms in schizophrenia. So now these are the positive and negative symptoms of psychosis. So as you can see here, positive symptoms, what happens in positive symptom? This is the mesolimbic pathway in the brain, and here what happens, dopamine activity, dopamine is increased, so it produces positive symptoms like delusions and hallucination. Aim of treatment is slow down this dopamine transmission here. What happens in negative symptom? This is negative symptoms. Here this mesocortical pathway is involved. As you can see here, mesolimbic pathway, and here mesocortical pathway is involved. Here dopamine is already less. So our aim is to increase dopamine level in this pathway to manage symptoms. These other two pathways are tuberoinfundibular pathway and nigrostriatal pathway. So these four pathways, mesolimbic, mesocortical, tuberoinfundibular, and nigrostriatal, these are four main dopaminergic pathways in the brain, and they are involved in mechanism of action, that how antipsychotic drugs act, and to understand how they produce side effects. So now we will discuss about major dopaminergic projections in the brain, which include mesolimbic, mesocortical, nigrostriatal, and tuberoinfundibular pathway. So first is mesolimbic pathway. As you can see, here is a ventral tegmental area in the midbrain, and from here dopamine neuron projects from two nucleus accumbens. This ventral tegmental area to nucleus accumbens, this is called reward pathway or addiction pathway also. What happens here, dopamine is increased and it causes overactive mesolimbic pathway, and it produces hallucinations and delusions, disorganized behavior, speech, and bizarre behavior, which are present in psychosis. So these are called positive symptoms. So positive symptoms means increase in dopamine in this pathway, mesolimbic pathway. Now second is mesocortical pathway. Here you can see this ventral tegmental area is situated in the midbrain, and from here these projects towards the various areas of cortex. So these are dopaminergic projections. So ventral tegmental area to cortex. So this is called mesocortical pathway, and this pathway is very important in cognition, understanding the things. So what happens whenever dopamine is decreased in this mesocortical pathway, it causes negative symptoms like anhedonia, flat affect, asocialization, and all other activities. Poor personal care means they don't have any motivation to do any act. Now the third one is nigrostriatal pathway. this pathway is very important for us to understand the side effects of our antipsychotic drugs. What happens? This is a nigrostriatal pathway, and this is substantia nigra to caudate and putamen nucleus. So, dopamine neuron, these projects from substantia nigra to striatum. Striatum is made both of caudate and putamen nucleus. So, and this pathway, nigrostriatal pathway, is involved in coordination of movement, of body movement. So, whenever dopamine is decreased in this pathway, it causes extrapyramidal symptoms. These are the main side effects of our antipsychotic drugs, and these extrapyramidal side effects are more with first generation antipsychotic than second generation antipsychotic. Now, fourth one is tuberoinfundibular pathway. What happens here? This is start from hypothalamus and dopaminergic neurons. It projects from hypothalamus to anterior pituitary gland. What happens? Dopamine is inhibitory of this one, pituitary gland. So, whenever dopamine is blocked in this area, it causes hyperprolactinemia, and in female the side effect is galactorrhea and amenorrhea, and in male side effect is sexual dysfunction or infertility. So, we learned about these four pathways. The first is mesolimbic pathway and second is mesocortical pathway, and these two pathways are basically important for us to understand how antipsychotic acts in the brain in the psychosis. And later two pathways, tuberoinfundibular pathway and nigrostriatal pathway, they are important for us to know the side effect of antipsychotic drugs. So, now we will discuss about typical antipsychotic, that is first generation antipsychotic drugs. So, in 1950, chlorpromazine developed and marketed as anti-anxiety pill. In 1952, in USA, 380 psychotic patients, they were given chlorpromazine and they noted improvement in delusions and hallucination. After that, in 1955, chlorpromazine approved in USA for treatment of psychosis. So, this is conventional antipsychotic or first generation antipsychotic or typical antipsychotic. What happens? As we read, this is dopamine D2 blockade in mesolimbic pathway, because what is the main pathology here is increase in dopamine level in mesolimbic pathway. So, our aim is block this D2 receptor in mesolimbic pathway and it causes improvement in symptoms. Now, these are the typical antipsychotics like chlorpromazine, perfenazine, trifluparazine, fluphenazine, loxapine, thiothixine and haloperidol. Now, this is the second generation antipsychotics. So, today we discussed about typical antipsychotics and its mechanism of action and how typical antipsychotic they produces neurological side effect. So, now in the next class we will discuss about atypical antipsychotic and phases of treatment of psychosis. So, I will take the class on next Tuesday. Thank you. If any doubts, you can ask the questions. Thank you.